Sometimes when I go to a party, people ask me what I do for a living.
And this question makes me cringe.
Why does it make me cringe? Well, I don't like seeing people's reaction when I tell them the answer.
That's because the answer is, I am a marketer.
Now maybe I should just really change the type of people I hang around with. Or maybe I need to change my profession.
But most likely, what I need to do is to better explain what it is I do.
So what's marketing? Well, to explain what marketing is, I have to tell you what a market is.
A market is a place where goods and services exchange hands according to the laws of supply and demand. The laws of supply and demand dictate that if there is a need for any given good or service, someone will step in and fill that demand with a supply thereof.
Now that seems all very well and nice, but in this day and age, marketing gets blame for a lot of the bad things in the world. For example,
it's the prevailing ethos that consumerism is responsible for the degradation of our environment and the planet as a whole.
And to be quite honest, I think that's probably a pretty accurate characterization of the status quo. But is it possible that there's both good and bad marketing out there? In other words, is it possible that, as with all other things, power can be used for both good and for evil? Well, to answer that question, I pretty much have to first answer, what's marketing? Well, simply put, if a market is nothing more than a situation where goods and services exchange hands according to the laws of supply and demand, then marketing is the act of bringing things to market.
Now, if the laws of supply and demand are right, and I like to think they are, then if you bring something to market, it's because there's already a demand for it.
If there's not a demand for it, then what you're doing pretty much is in violation of basic market principles.
However, it wouldn't quite be fair to say that marketing is the act of simply bringing something to market.
In other words, basically, if you're thirsty and I sell you a glass of lemonade, that would make me a marketer, but it doesn't.
So what does a marketer do? Well, simply put, a marketer stimulates demand in the marketplace. Now there are those out there who like to postulate that what brought on the Great Depression was overabundant supply and not enough demand. In other words, one of the greatest lessons we learned from the Great Depression was that marketing is pretty much a necessary component of a prosperous economy. In other words, marketing is a necessary component of a growth economy. Because when the economy stops growing, it crashes. It's kind of like a bird that way. If it wants to stay up, it has to keep flapping its wings.
But back to my initial problem. What about stimulating demand? Well, there are kind of two ways that you can go about this, I suppose.
The first way is to recognize something that people might want but have never had and develop it.
This is the product development approach to marketing.
For example, during the Ice Age, the man who invented fire might be characterized as a marketer. The second way to stimulate demand is that which fuels the growth economy as a whole. Simply put, you think up some type of product or service that you enjoy doing or think is cool and would like to make money providing, and then you convince people that they need it.
Now it's this type of marketing that probably gets marketers as a whole a bad reputation. And if you think about it, that kind of makes sense, because the entire growth economy is built around superfluous goods and services. And it's that in producing all these superfluous goods and services that we're destroying the environment.
But does that mean that all marketing is bad? Well, of course it doesn't.
The fact of the matter is, the full range of all activities in a human society aren't either good or bad as a rule.
It just so happens that the tragedy of the exigencies of human existence is that the vast majority of our actions tend to be cast in an evil manner.
By evil, I mean they do bad things and make people feel kind of poopy.
What I'm getting at is that marketing as a rule is not evil. It's just powerful.
And power corrupts, just like absolute power corrupts absolutely.
But enough with the cliched adages. What I'm getting at is more or less marketing is a powerful tool to kind of make money.
It just so happens that most people that are interested in making money really only care about the money and not about the consequences of their actions.
And these people, when it comes to stimulating demand, will do so by preying on your insecurities, fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Kind of like how beauty products tell you that getting old is a bad thing.
Because in other non-consumer societies, old age is actually viewed as a character trait, kind of like wisdom.
So what is marketing in a nutshell? Well, it's not something that's either good or bad.
It's just something that stimulates demand for a supply in the marketplace.
It's whether that supply contributes to the well-being of the individual or society as a whole that makes the marketer, who drove the demand for it, good or bad.
What I'm getting at, ladies and gentlemen, is that marketing, like the full range of human activities, is very much beyond good and evil.
This has been C.T. Moore for GypsyBandito.com. I'll talk to you later.